So, welcome. Thanks for coming. It's Allison Sullivan with Stamp Crazy with Allison. And today I've got kind of an interesting card, or at least the way I approached the card. I approached it as I love this card that I got as a nice card from one of my friends. It's beautiful, but I didn't want to just make her card. So I sort of took her colors and her idea, and then I looked at one of my Border Buddy sketches. Now, if you're a regular follower, you know on Sundays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, I show you how to make a card with a sketch. So this is kind of like a cased card, like my Just in Case series on Thursdays and my Sunday sketches. So I'm kind of putting it together. So I hope you like it. Hi, Allie, that's probably my sister Ellie, because she's the only one who would call me Allie, I think. All right, so let's go over here and look at what we're going to do today. Oh, my nose is itchy. Okay. Okay, this is really funny. Hi, Kathy. This is really funny because when I actually refreshed it on my iPad, it's going at like 3 times triple speed just to get here. Okay, so here we are. So now I can see that you can see my my presentation desk, right? I'm just going to raise this a titch, and I'm just going to turn that light just a bit. So you're going to get a bit of a sheen because the paper is shiny, right? So today we're going to focus on the Harvest Meadow Suite. Gorgeous, page 54, 55, and 56 in the mini catalog. So it goes over onto here. Here's the stamp set and the dies. Okay. Now, if you're a regular follower, you know that I've been sort of showcasing this on my blog. And you guys, I changed my blog. I'd love for you to go over and see it. So stampcrazywithallison.ca is my blog. I have done a total refresh. And so hop on over at some point and tell me what you think. Leave me a comment over there. I think you'll like it. I love the new look. Okay. So anyway, I offer a free PDF tutorial. So it's got instructions for 6 cards featuring a suite that I've picked for the month. And so this month it's Harvest Meadow. Okay. Oh, hi, Cindy. I think I said hello on another comment, but hello. I'm just reading comments as they come in, you guys. I'll stop doing that once I start creating. Okay, so 6 cards, PDF, instructions, supplies, measurements, pictures, all that kind of stuff. And all you have to do to earn it for free is to make any size order in my store, which is shopcrazywithallison.ca. So just make any size purchase. Doesn't have to be big. You will get it sent to you by email. Okay. So there's only 2 more days left to get the PDF for Harvest Meadow, because after tomorrow it'll be October and we're switching. So what's in this beautiful suite? Well, we've got the Nature's Harvest stamp set, and we've got the Harvest dies. So some of the dies cut out the images once they're stamped. Some of them are standalone images, like this label and the wheat, and it just all this, and some of the other ones, the echinacea and the Canadian thistle. Okay, so some match the dies and the stamps and some do not. Okay, so that's the stars of the show, so to speak. Okay, I'm just going to move those over here. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Monica. Welcome. I don't know if you've ever watched me before, Monica, but welcome. Okay, so when you make a purchase in September of $60 or more Canadian, some of you are American, you receive your choice of a free reward from the Celebration catalog. Okay, so if you spend $120, you get 2, and so on. So for every $60. Now the only one there's a couple items that are now sold out because we've only got 2 days left. The sheet dies are gone, and the bedazzling paper is gone. Okay, but other than that, everything else is available. So what else is in the suite? Okay, we've got the fabulous embossing folder. This is called Time Worn. Let me just make sure I got the exact name. Time Worn Type 3D folder, which is really cool. Now look at this. This is so sad. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the brush metallic adhesive dots left. That's how much I love them. I think this is my second pack. So I will I have to order some more, but that's included in the suite. Then we've got this fabulous cork paper. You get 2 sheets. They're 12 by 12, but they're so soft. They're like cork. They're cork, right? And so it's very soft and really easy to work with. And then we've got the designer series paper. Love this. I'm just going to spread this out so you can see. So that's one side. And of course, there's always 2 sides. So that's the other side. So quite a variety. Okay. And then finally, we've got this beautiful ribbon. This is the diamond weave ribbon. It's 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Or 1 centimeter, depending on where you live. Okay. So that's what's included in the products in the suite. And I always find when you have a suite, it's so much easier to work with because it's all coordinated for you and you don't have to think about it, right? Okay, so let's start creating. So like I said, I started off with a sketch. So let me just make sure you can see the sketch. Yeah, there's the sketch. Oh, it's a little crooked. There we go. Okay, so that's the sketch that I started with. And then this is the card that I'm basing my card on today. So mine's going to be a little bit different, but sort of similar elements. But I'm going to follow the sketch. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, or you would have seen it pop up on Facebook today, you would have seen this card pop up. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I did, you guys, was I turned the card this way. Because when you're using a sketch, you can have it in a portrait or landscape. So I wanted it landscape. Then I went ahead and cut some elements. So I started with my 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock, and then I scored it at 4 1/4. Okay. Now this sketch doesn't call for another layer, but that's okay. A sketch is just a place to start. It's not the end. It's just a place to start. So I wanted to use one of the beautiful designer series papers. Okay. So I chose this one. It's got, it looks kind of like a worn piece of paper with some script on it. And it's exactly the same look as the time-worn type embossing folder. Okay, but this is just pre-printed onto your paper. Okay, I'm gonna make sure. Oh, hi Ruby, watching for the first time. Welcome, welcome. I can't see the comments on my iPad, so that's why I'm kind of cranking my head over to see what you guys are saying. All right, so I want to make a layer of that. So let's go ahead, and we can go ahead and put that on right away. Now, my favorite glue is the multi-purpose glue, the multi-purpose white glue. I find it really easy to control, and I can move things around. So if I haven't put it on my paper exactly right, I can maneuver it, which is good for me because I never put anything on straight. All right. So the next thing I did was cut a piece at 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. But because I want it to layer onto this piece, I actually had to change that to 4 so that it didn't go beyond. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, you can see that the sketch has me closer to the left side. So let's do that. So let's put this kind of not quite in the middle, just a little bit over to give it some interest. Okay. Helps if it's straight. See, that's why I love my white glue. All right. Now, before I started today, I took my embossing folder and I took a piece of the soft, succulent cardstock and I ran it through. And the reason I didn't do it on camera is because it requires the larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I want to use the small one for the other elements. So I know you know how to emboss. So I just went ahead and did that. Then I cut those to 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. And I want to put those on either side. Okay, so I'm just going to get some glue and add that. This is a really pretty sketch. I hope you guys will try it. All right, so just kind of eyeball where you'd like that. No right or wrong here. All right, so that's sort of the start here. Okay, now I've got this piece here. So it's calling for a 2 by 2 3/4, which you could use just a square and stamp on it, but I didn't want to do that, right? I'm following kind of the design of my friend's card. So I want to create 2 layers that will replace this image here. So I grabbed the stitch so sweetly, guys. Here they are. And I'm going to use these two. So I've got this one and this one. Okay. Those two. Now, when I originally made the card, I used a piece of crumb cake for this, but then I thought, wouldn't it be nice in the cork? So we're going to use the cork for this piece. And then I want a piece of white for this piece. Okay, so let's run those through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Bring that over here. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, just over the edge you can. All right. Now, for those of you joining me for the first time, hi, Jennifer. I don't use the plate number 1, which is what they call for when you're die cutting. I use plate number 3. You guys who watch me all the time are probably sick of me saying this, but it's good to remind you. When I use that in plate number 3 instead, my wheels or rollers on my machine grab it every single time. Is just like, look at that, just goes through like butter. Love it. So if you're having some issues, just switch it up and use plate number 3 instead of plate number 1. Okay, so I've cut that out. Sorry, guys, there we are. Okay, now I'm going to cut this piece out, run that through. Okay. And there we go. I love how it adds stitching around there. Can you see that? Isn't that great? Okay, so now I've got those 2 pieces cut out. I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I'll be bringing it back because I want to cut, stamp, color, and cut out my main image. And so the image that I'm going to use is this one here. So the 3 echinacea flowers or corn flowers or cone flowers, sometimes they're called. You could make them black-eyed Susans, I guess. They're sort of similar, right? Now, when I'm using a large stamp and I've got my stamp pad and it's the Memento ink, so it's a not a soft foamy pad, it's a stiffer felty pad. I can just do this and rub it so I get a good coverage. Okay, I'm going to stamp that. There we go. I'm going to let it dry for just a sec. Not too long, just let it kind of set there. Okay, and when I'm going to use Stampin' Gun, so I want to put a piece of protective paper underneath so my surface stays safe. So I'm going to bring this down just a titch so you can see what I'm coloring. Okay, so I have got some dark soft succulent. I'm not sure I'm going to use that one. Light just jade, light mint macron. So those are kind of my 3 greens for the stems and the leaves. And then I've got kind of a mishmash of colors for the flowers. I've got daffodil, pumpkin pie, and light cinnamon cider. Okay, so let's see how this works out. Let's start by, I'm going to start by using a light daffodil. I'm going to go over the whole thing. Now, I'm not worried, you guys, if I go outside of the lines because I'm going to be cutting this image out with the coordinating die. So if there's anything on the outside of the petals or whatever, you're not going to see it because it's going to be gone. I'm not too worried about that. Normally, I would take a little bit more care. All right, so I'm just going to add some of the yellows. And then I want to add, I think I'm going to add a darker pumpkin. Now, this is different than what I did when I originally did it. So let's just see what color that is before I commit, right? I don't want to commit to a color I'm not going to like. And you can always color it under because no one's going to see it. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to just, it's a very dark pumpkin pie. I'm just going to color that. Okay. Then I'm going to go in and grab my light cinnamon cider. And I'm just going to add it to the edges and the top of these flowers. You can see that. Just kind of on the edge, just on this edge of the center of the flower, and then down into the petals, and then sort of on the bottom of this one that hasn't fully opened. Okay, then I've got this kind of stark line there, don't I? So I don't want that. So I'm going to go back in and grab my daffodil that I used originally. And I'm just going to go over that whole thing and blend. Okay, and I can even go over this and blend. Because the great thing about Stampin' Blends is unlike a pencil crayon or a watercolor crayon, pencil or crayon, or even our Stampin' Write markers, this color will not erase the color underneath. It's just going to blend it and give it a softer edge. Okay. Now I think I would like a little bit more pumpkin, but I think I've got a lighter pumpkin. I think this is the light pumpkin. Yeah. I'm going to just add a little bit of that. So I'm really just blending and bringing that down. Hopefully you can see that. You can fuss with this and color it as much as you want. I tend to try and stop before I do too much because sometimes you can get carried away. But can you see that by just adding and layering more color, I've got the 3 colors, but they're all blended together. So hopefully you can see that. All right. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Yes. So Jennifer's saying, good reminder. That's why I kind of always mention it. You may find perfect success with plate number 1, like Jennifer. She says it's great for her. She doesn't have any problems. I just could not get it to grab, Jennifer. So that's why I use 3, and then I'm kind of idiot proof. So I'm using a very light mint macaron here. Okay. I'm just going to lay down a layer here. And it's okay to leave some white space, you guys. That's fine too. Okay, so I'm going to lay down that first layer. I want to go in with a bit darker. I think the light just jade. Yeah, I think that might be dark enough. If I go with the dark soft succulent, I think it's too dark. Yeah, I think that's too dark. So I'm going to go in with this succulent. Is that what it is? Just jade. Light just jade. So you can mix and match the colors, right? Just stick. Just going to add a bit more like that. And then I'm going to go back in with my light color again, so light macaron, mint macaron, and just blend it all. Okay. This is good for a rainy day, right? Like coloring on a rainy day. Now my daughter, who's an artist, she told me if you want to add a little bit of interest, you can go in with a darker color, like even a smoky slate. And just here where that stem crosses over that leaf, just in that area, you can add a color. So let's try the darker. Yeah, so you can see I'm adding a bit of shade there. I'll hold it up in a sec. So you can see that. Yeah. So I've added just a little bit of dark here and here where that leaf meets, and then here and then here. And it just adds a little bit of dimension. Okay, let's cut this out. So I'm going to bring back my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and this time I need my dies from my Harvest dies. And it's going to be this one here. Okay, that's going to cut it out. Now, if you've got, if you want to buy some repositionable tape, the Scotch removable tape works really well. I find that sometimes especially when I'm doing a live, because you can't really see my surface here, but my hands are further ahead than they would be if I was just stamping for myself, right? Because I want to keep it in frame for you guys. So sometimes it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to layer this where I want. Take a minute here because you've done all this coloring. You don't want to have it shift while you're running it through there, right? And I should bring this closer to me so I can see exactly where the lines are. That looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to put a piece of this tape across just to hold it in place, okay? And then I can run it through. If you've got a steadier hand, then go for it. Okay, and let's bring this over. And I'm going to raise this up just a titch because I'm no longer coloring. And here's our die. I'll just press this out. And of course, this is stuck. But because it's removable tape, it doesn't stick to the paper, so it all pops out. Yay, which is great, right? She says. There we go. All right. And then I'm just going to remove this. And Okay, so she says with hope. Yeah, there we go. It really doesn't want to let go. Let go. Oh, yep, there we go. I just got that one little piece. Okay. Is that great? Love that. All right, so let's bring in, here's all our little elements again. So remember we cut out our 2 labels. And I used cork. I love the cork. Don't you love the cork? And then I could just do this, but I wanted to add another layer just like my friend had done. So I'm going to bring in crumb cake, and I'm going to bring in this funny little stamp from the set. I'll show you this little guy here, kind of like a blotchy paper. It looks like worn paper. But I find that crumb cake can be darker than we think. So that's at full strength. That's too dark. So I'm stamping it off once, and then I'm going to bring it like that. So just get a lighter version. Okay. Otherwise, it's just too dark. What else are you guys saying? I think I caught up with all your comments. Okay. So next up, let's bring this back. So next up, let's pop this up with dimensionals. You can never have too many dimensionals, I say, right? So let's do that. And pop one over there and over there because I'm going to support those sides. It's not too big a piece that you need one in the middle. So I don't think so. So I'm just going to make sure we're lining that up. I think that looks pretty good. I got to make sure that it's straight, you guys. Okay. And then I want to pop this piece up too. All right. I really appreciate you guys joining me at my lives. It's nice to have friends here while I'm stamping. And there we go. If you share my video, I'll put your name in a draw and send you. You might be the winner of this card. Okay. So what you do is click share, and then in the comments, just type shared. And that way I know that you shared. Okay. Because I can see that someone shared, but not necessarily who has shared. Let's put that like that. What do you think? Okay. All right. Here we go. Hold that down. All right. What do you think? So far, so good. Yeah. Let's add a saying. So I've got the soft succulent, and the sayings in here are good luck, thank you, and so on. And I do send a lot of thank you cards, so I think I'm going to use thank you because I do send a lot of those. Oh, that says good luck. I don't send a lot of good lucks. Let's grab them. Here we are. Thank you. Can't read upside down. That's my problem. Okay. Let's try that again. Turn it on, turn it over. Always 2 sides to every piece of paper, right? Thank you. And really cool. You can just cut that out, or the label from the dies, the Harvest dies, will cut out thank you. So let's do that. I thought I was done with my little machine, but I'm not. So let's bring her back. And I don't think I need to tape this down. The other reason that you want to tape something down perhaps is that your plates, after a while, they start to bow a little bit and get scratched up. And so sometimes things can move. But in a small item like this, I think I'm pretty safe. Okay. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing. So here we are. Now, when you're putting this on, you see how this is just hanging here because there's no way for me to glue it flat, right? Because these 2 pieces are popped up. So we want to put a pop up on the one side. But because this one is double popped up, so this is popped up and this is popped up, we need to do a triple decker. I think we need a triple decker. Let's see. Yep, we need a triple decker so that everything is even. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side because the glue part is going to be just flat, but we want to raise up the thank you, this end. Okay. All right. Now, just to finish this off, I am going to add a few precious brushed metallic adhesive dots. I've only got a few precious ones left. So I must use these wisely. Okay, and here's one more. So now I have none left. Good thing I've got some coming in my order. All right. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to move that down, and I'm going to move this down. There we go. All right. So that's my finished card. So where is my sketch so I can show you? So here's the sketch. Okay, reminder, I turned it this way, right? And then I just cut out the elements and I improvised. I didn't want just a square here, so that's when I added the 2 labels. Okay, so this is the card I made for you guys today. This is the card I made yesterday just to practice. And can you see that I used crumb cake here? Okay, but this one I used the cork. And honestly, in real life, I like the cork because the cork has dimension. It has a brighter color. Which one do you guys like? Let's put these side by side, and let's lower this down a titch, and you can tell me if you can see those. Which one do you like better? What do you think? Cork or crumb cake? Cork or crumb cake? Oh, hi, Pauline. Cork. Yeah, me too, Jennifer. I like the cork too. I think it's really nice. Now, for those of you who, I'm going to just bring my face back on. There we are. For those of you who've been joining me for a few months, first of all, I only could show my hands. Then I learned a new technology so I could show my face and my hands off and on. So next time, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to try and figure out a way to use my phone because it has an excellent camera. And I think the images will be crisper. So fingers crossed that I can figure that out in time for Sunday. So let me just see. Any other questions here? Oh, do you like the cork too? Yeah, I think the cork is beautiful. I think you guys are all caught up, or I'm all caught up on you guys. And look at that, 3:31. I try and keep it to 30 minutes because I know your time is precious to you. And so I hope I can share something fun, but not take up, hours of your day. Okay, so what else was I going to tell you? Check out my new blog. Well, I have had a blog, but I have a blog refresh. And please go check it out and leave me a comment either there or on our Facebook group or my Facebook page. I'd love to hear what you think. If you want to watch me on YouTube, you can, Stamp Crazy with Allison. And you can subscribe to my channel so you know when I'm going live or when I post any kind of video. What else? Like me or follow me on my page and you'll be alerted when I go live. So I think that's all I wanted to tell you. Remember, just 1.5 more days of celebration. So if you want to get an order in, shop Crazy with Allison. If you live in Canada and you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to help you. So thank you so much, you guys. Have a wonderful day and happy stamping.